Oh yeah, now my people, it's your guy, the Niger Englishman, and we are back here, One Touch TV settings. And I got obviously my panel to join me for some different vibes today. Different vibes. We tend to talk a lot about the Premier League, Arsenal, the top six, all that sort of stuff. But today, shamelessly, I'm wearing my Nigerian shirt, even though we have nothing to do with this show today. We have no business talking in this show or represented on this show, but I'm wearing it proud regardless. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe, comment, share, all of that. And definitely tag along to all my illustrious panel and on their social media sites. I'll add that to the description of this video. But guys, we are here. World Cup 2022, the first Winter World Cup. And on my right side, back again by popular demand, we've got man like Mbizo, aka the Professor. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I'm excited. I think, based in Sao Paulo, I think the country's getting in the vibe. I'm starting to feel it too. There's a couple of bars, butecos, and stuff around here that are going to be fan zones. So, yeah, man, it's ramping up. It's ramping up. And by the way, I'd like to correct that statement. It's only the first ever Winter World Cup in the Northern Hemisphere. Okay, but from Eurocentric perspectives, Brazil, South Africa, okay, we hosted Winter World Cups.
No. Sorry, that's why you're here, bro, to fix some things. If I make any issues, you're here to sweep it all up for me. Thank you.
No wahala, bro. I'm just orienting.
No, we appreciate you always, bro. And obviously, we got One Touch TV royalty here today. We got man like Akpos in the building, Mr. Football and Pidgin himself. How you doing, my guy?
Well, I'm good, Kunle. But just like you are disappointed, I'm also disappointed with the fact that the white jersey, which is currently behind me, is not going to be flying high at this FIFA World Cup. So that's a very disappointing one for me because my attraction to football actually started with the national team. So for big fans of national team football, like it's a disappointing one that my favorite team, which is the Super Eagles of Nigerian team, it's not going to be on this one. So I'm equally very disappointed. I'm also looking forward to what our African brothers who are going to be representing the continent of Africa are going to do, and I'm hoping they're going to make all of us proud and potentially go further than any African country has gone in the previous World Cup. So I'm excited about this one. So let's go.
And we should be. Look, at the end of the day, you know how they talk about how the players have been overworked and all that stuff. Do you know what? Look, as much as I understand there's pressure to play football every 3 days and stuff. But look, as much as some people might hate me for this statement, they've asked for more money. So what did they think was going to happen in return? These people that are paying their money are always going to retaliate with more competitions, more football. That's why these guys are getting paid ridiculous salaries right now. It's not fair, but it's nice to watch for us fans. Let's not lie. Let's not sugarcoat that. But we're here, World Cup 2022, and we're kicking off on Sunday. Qatar versus Ecuador. It's not the most glamorous way to start the World Cup. But
and there's some controversy. Already.
Yeah, talk to me.
So allegedly, and I say allegedly because I haven't dug deep into the issue, but allegedly some Qatari officials bribed some Ecuadorian players.
Okay.
Again, I'm not sure the phrase. I'm not sure if it was accepted. Some are saying these bribes were accepted. Some are saying that they're not sure, but that's the World Cup is sizzling before it's even begun with reports like that.
We like to hear it. We like scandal now. There's always going to be scandal when it comes to this World Cup. It's not like the fact that even in winter, there's some sort of scandals going on anyway, because it's all mad. Because at the end of the day, we're known for having the World Cup normally in like the June, July type of time. So we're used to the end of like most European League seasons and stuff. Right. So it's a bit different. But it's starting Qatar versus Ecuador. On Monday, we've got Senegal versus Netherlands. And obviously, we all got the news over the weekend about Mane not being represented.
That's what I'm representing, actually.
Can we first, either one of you chime in, like, how devastating is that news for world football, but also Senegal as a nation in this tournament?
For me, I think that was a very big blow for me because I've been looking forward to this World Cup, and for the best player from the continent, the current African footballer of the year to be in the World Cup, for me, I think that's a big blow.
Facts.
It's a big blow for the Senegalese national team. I think it's a very big blow, not just for the Senegalese national team, but to every African and to every person who wants to see an African team China at this World Cup, because Sadio Mane to me is not just an export from Senegal anymore. It's an export from the continent. So this is a blow to the continent, and it's a very disappointing one for me. I heard that he did a surgery already, and I'm wishing him speedy recovery. I hope he's going to be back at his best, doing what we all know him to do very best, which is to getting the ball on the back of the net and being that team player, being a leader. But I'm just hoping that other leadership figures in that team, like Koulibaly, they will be able to step up to the occasion, because Sadio Mane is definitely, no matter how we're going to say, it's going to be a big miss for this team. But when the other guys,
losing you there, Akpos.
Sorry, Koulibaly, step up to the plate and inspire this team, and let's see how far. Yeah, let's see how far the reigning champions of Africa can go at the biggest stage in world football.
Here we got some exclusive alleged news by BX Guno 81. Offered them millions to throw the match there. Allegedly, we can't confirm anything on One Touch TV, but allegedly they're saying. Big up. I agree with definitely what you're saying about Sadio Mane. It's a big blow to world football. A big blow to let's be honest. Going into this World Cup, I'm sure Mbizo will back me up on this. Africa, the continent's biggest chance of winning a World Cup, which would be crazy in general to think of.
Yeah, of course.
Our hopes were kind of set on what the Senegalese were going to do, because they've proven themselves against the best of the best African nations champions. They've got a solid coach there, and obviously with Sadio Mane as the talisman of that team, there's always a chance. Expect the unexpected. You get the luck of the draw. A few things happen, and you know what? You could have seen them in a final. But obviously, Mane's not there now. So how do you see their chances of performing in this tournament?
I'll take this one because, of course, absolutely, it is a devastating loss. I don't think anyone can ever argue against that. In fact, my initial reaction was, "It's fine. I'm not watching. I'm not interested. Then I'm not even watching this stupid World Cup." But the fact of the matter is this: okay, Senegal must not pull a Neymar. Okay, or rather, pull a Brazil a la 2014. Okay, so your talisman is injured. Yes, devastating. But you have a world-class lineup. You have a world-class team. Can you be expected to win? The odds are probably against you there. But we can still expect them to at least equal Africa's best ever performance in the World Cup. I don't see a quarterfinal as something absurd for Senegal, even in the absence of Sadio Mane.
Because of how organized they are as a team, right?
Yeah, they're incredible. They're an incredible squad. I mean, you're talking about Mendy, right? And when I say Mendy, I mean Nampalys and Edouard. You're talking about Sarr, and I mean Pape and Ismaila. You're talking about Gay, Idrissa and Pape, Abdou Diallo, Kalidou Koulibaly, Bamba Dieng. These are players that are playing at the top European teams all across the continent, right? Champions League, Europa League. These are guys that can compete with any team pretty much toe-to-toe if they bring the mentality that they can do so. Is Sadio Mane a loss? Yes. But don't capitulate on the basis of having lost one player, right? Sadio is the leader. He's the talisman, but you are a team, and you are a bloody good one. So I hope Senegal really try to psychologically and emotionally get themselves out of this dark place and really make a charge. Really, they have nothing to lose, nothing to fear. There's really no pressure. I mean, there may be some pressure coming from Africans because we're hopeful, but nobody's expecting.
They can go and enjoy themselves.
Yes, they can go and have a good time. Go and roll the dice. And I think if they do that, they'll certainly pull some surprises. There's absolutely no question.
100%. Talking about Senegal, Koulibaly made a big move to Chelsea, obviously, in the summer. It's something him in the coming to the Premier League has been talked about for a number of years, but it finally happened. probably not at the best time in terms of all the previous times, but he went to Chelsea, and it's not, I wouldn't say only him, but it's not going well for Chelsea in general right now. But obviously him coming into that environment, he's not been able to really perform. Do you think there's a little bit of extra pressure on him to carry the team now and bounce back from what's going on at Chelsea, and Mane not being the team to lead it? Like, do you think there's a lot of pressure on his head going into this World Cup?
I'll leave that one to you, maybe. Akpos.
Akpos, what do you think?
Definitely, there's going to be more pressure now, because when Sadio Mane was there, everybody's looking up to Sadio Mane, and some other players will be looking up to Koulibaly. But now Sadio Mane is no longer in the team. I think that's going to be more responsibility, definitely for Koulibaly, because it's been one of the most senior internationals now in that team, and like you said, it's not going well for Chelsea, so we can't just pinpoint just Koulibaly at the moment. But this is a very experienced player who has played at the top level consistently for a good number of years. So I'm confident, and I'm hoping that it will step up to the plate, and it would pull all of those players around him together and make sure that they're going to, like Mbizo said, we are hoping a quarterfinals is not something that is between their reach. Because I went to the AFCON, I saw how difficult it is to face some of those teams in the AFCON. So putting together all of the performances they made from the group stage, getting to the finals, and lifting the most prized trophy in the African continent in Cameroon, I think that Koulibaly needs to step up to the plate. Definitely more pressure, but I agree with Mbizo that they can get to the quarterfinals if they can keep replicating the performances that I saw at the AFCON. They can definitely get to the quarterfinals.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to get into some of the comments before we introduce our final member of the panel. Big up G Talks in the building. That Mane is a huge loss. I was looking forward to seeing him and Senegal play gutted. BX Goon 81 says, I had Senegal and Serbia as my dark horses. Senegal, I don't really know too much about Serbia and all that, but we'll get in another time with it.
I understand him.
Yeah, okay, we'll get into that a bit later. Sarr could have a good tournament, pacey, great dribbling, 100%. And that's a player that's very, very underrated. And he's had 2 stints in the Premier League with Watford. I'm surprised another Premier League club hasn't picked him up in both relegation situations, because they could have got him on the cheap, especially the second time around. But I think he's someone that is, I don't know, a big performance in this World Cup could lead to a maybe big January move for him. What do you guys think? Canners, first of all, Canners, welcome to the show. Mr. Box Office himself. When Canners comes to the building, is guaranteed likes and views. So smash the like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that. Welcome, Mr. Canners. How you doing, bro?
Apologies first and foremost.
Rob, I know you're a busy man, innit? It's one of them ones.
No, I don't know, but obviously
the agent and that.
No, you always do this to me, man. Look, apologies first and foremost. Just one thing that I'd like to touch on, the subject about Mane being, missing the World Cup. Massive, huge loss. The thing is that are fair for Senegal now, and the reason being, right, is that history has it, when a team loses a big player, ultimately they don't fare so well. I mean, I'll go back to 2002. Zidane basically was missing. He had an injury, picked up an injury. They brought him in anyway. They brought him into the squad, thinking that they would go through, the stages, etc. That to bring him in for the last game, hoping to qualify, but they didn't qualify, did they? They didn't get out their groups. So I know Senegal have got big players, world-class players, but if you look at the players that the French team in 2002 had, couldn't do it. When you have a talisman like Zidane is what Mane is to Senegal, what Zidane was, with France. It's going to happen, man. It's a psychological blow. Do you know what I mean? Some of the players might think, shit, do you know what I mean? There goes our chances. Hopefully it won't happen. But even if, the Argentina team of 98?
But Canners, on that, we've seen nations miss big players in tournaments, i.e. Denmark, Michael Laudrup wasn't there when they won the European Championship, and they went on to do a madness and shock the world. So that happened then. Obviously, Brazil as well, when Emerson got injured, Gilberto Silva came in, and they won the World Cup. So on your side, when teams do lose talisman, it obviously is a big blow, and it affects not only the team, the nation in general, but there's the odd chance. And as Africans, you always have to remain positive in this situation and hope the Senegal team shock the world.
Yeah, no, I think a massive positive for, I'd say, for the African teams this year is the fact that, and it's probably a leveler in the sense that the World Cup is coming around when the players are physically at their peak, right? Because look, history has it that the World Cup is in the summer, right? After a 50 or 60 game season, right? Players are knackered. Now we're coming in now in the middle of the season where players rightly.
That's very true. That's a good
point.
I mean?
They're physically at their peak. Listen. I reckon, right, and I hope an African team goes far. Semis at the very least. And I think it can happen with Ghana or Senegal. But I hope they do all rally together with Senegal, man, because it's a huge loss.
On that point in particular, we've got to talk about pate after pate. Obviously, hit a couple of screamers in the Premier League this season. Something he's been doing for Ghana regularly. We just hadn't seen it at Arsenal. So he's coming in great form. His team are top of the league right now. Obviously, he represents the mighty North London as Arsenal, top of the league, and that.
Let me just remind you that this is the Premier League show. This is the third time now you've focused on a Premier League player. This is a World Cup show.
Thanks for me.
All right.
Sorry, Mbizo. What team are you supporting?
I just wanted to remind the masses who he is, innit? But he represents Arsenal, and he's coming into the World Cup in great form. His nation, Ghana. I mean, Ghana are they're a very weird team right now because they're not really playing good football, but they're getting results somehow. Like Mbizo, I don't know. Like, do you agree with me? They're a bit of a weird proposition right now.
Yeah, I think what Ghana is getting away with is that they actually do have quite a good looking team sheet. At least in comparison to the last couple of years, they're looking much better on paper, individual talents and so on. Unfortunately, I must admit, as delighted as I am that all the African teams have hired African coaches for the first time ever, every African team is taking an African coach. I'm delighted about that.
Smash a like for that, my people. Smash a like for that.
Otto Addo has not convinced me. There was one thing in particular that made me, kind of took me aback a bit, was when he said he didn't take his name blanked as soon as I said it, and he plays for Crystal Palace, which is poor. He didn't take our midfielder, man. It also blanked in your head, right? I don't know why. Yeah. But anyway, he didn't take a Premier League player who's really playing at his peak under a great other African coach, Patrick Vieira, and has been a key member.
Right?
Jeffrey Schlupp. Why did that?
Yeah, Schlupp.
Jeffrey Schlupp. Right? He said he didn't take him, not because he didn't want him, but because he hasn't seen him play.
Okay? What?
Yeah, that's what he said. He says, I'm not taking Schlupp. I'm not taking Schlupp. Those are the reports. Okay, let me say that those are the reports. So, and if that's accurate, then that's an incredible omission, and that makes me distrust Otto Addo as a coach. Not because he didn't want him. If you don't want him, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But to say that you haven't seen a player who's in such a high-profile league for a team that, relatively high profile for having performed above expectations, at least when you're a Ghanaian player playing for Crystal Palace, Ghana needs to be looking.
Wait. How has my man seen Tariq Lamptey, who's hardly played any games in the Premiership for Brighton, and not seen Jeffrey?
It's completely beyond me, it's completely beyond me, my brother. You see, so when you hear things like that, you really, it doesn't inspire hope. It doesn't inspire hope. So but obviously, we're hoping that Ghana goes far. They have the individual pieces to do it. They brought in some players who, not homegrown, grown up in European nations, born in European nations, African nonetheless, they'll always be. So we'll see how they come and gel with the rest of the squad, and we hope they go far. But hey, this Ottawa door hasn't inspired confidence in me. I'll just be very
bro. Like how did Jordan make it, bro? Bro, Jordan can't be tagging along to the World Cup.
Listen, I'm in a good
It's
mood.
not
Don't
fair.
upset me, please. I'm in a good mood. Don't upset me, please.
It's not fair.
Please.
Quickly about Ghana, though, are you surprised that you haven't seen the likes of Eddie Nketiah and Callum Hudson-Odoi join the Ghanaian squad this time around? Because, like, I thought it was a no-brainer for both of them in general. I don't know if Eddie's like holding out for an England call-up, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Who would Hudson-Odoi put on the bench? Who would Hudson-Odoi put on the bench? Mohamed Kudus?
He definitely wouldn't put Kudus on the bench, but he would be part of the squad.
No ways.
I don't think he has
made. Of course he wouldn't bench Kudus. Of course he wouldn't. But he'd be on the bench. He'd be effective coming off the bench for 20 minutes. It's a World Cup, for goodness sake. This is the only chance he's going to get.
Kudus plays ahead of him. How would he come in?
But listen,
I don't think he has merited.
Hudson could play over this one, the IU boy. I mean, come on.
Come on, bro. You pick Hudson over Jordan.
But he needs to be but isn't he waiting out for England? Isn't he waiting for England?
They're both are.
That's the issue. Yeah, I think that's
when will these players learn about this thing?
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
I don't know how they need to see for them not to learn. I don't even pity them again. They're just crazy. They're mad.
Mourinho come up with something. I think it kind of went. I don't know if you guys heard it, but what he said is that African players of African descent should be made to play for that country, not the assimilated country.
I'm with
by
it.
now we would have
it because a lot of countries will be scared to participate. France,
how many World Cups would Senegal and Algeria have?
Bro.
Nigeria
definitely back in the
Nigeria.
There'll be a problem, bro. These European countries would be fuming, bro.
But the thing is that Mourinho actually come up with some kind of conspiracy theorist kind of thing, saying that obviously they don't, enforce that because I don't know. It's like the divide and conquer kind of rule kind of thing.
No, because it completely eradicates the argument. Who do you want to play for and all that stuff? It just clears it up. This is your country of origin. Boom. You're playing for them. Yeah, I would love it. I'm not going to lie.
Imagine Saka playing for Nigeria. Them ones there.
Mate. Why are you trying to upset me on my show, bro? Don't talk about Bukayo here, bro. Because the Bukayo thing is so hard because I love him because he's an Arsenal player, but then he picked England and
Bukayo
is all over the place.
Bukayo is playing.
Please.
Bukayo is playing. Tomori.
That's the one I'm praying for.
I want to hear of an allegory of pain. That is Tomori.
I don't pity Tomori, bro. Him or Tammy, I don't pity them, bro, because of how they went about their thing is madness, bro. Both of them.
Can you imagine the French squad though, back in the late 90s, the early noughties, right? Of how many all those players from
the fact that Zidane wouldn't be on
here's the problem with that, and I like what Mourinho said, but here comes the problem with that. Is that okay for many, we're giving great examples of players that would have played maybe for some African nations and it would have been fantastic. But then I always think of people like, for example, Thierry Henry. He's from Martinique. We lose out on Thierry Henry. God bless my people from Martinique.
Yeah.
I love Martinique.
I hear it. There's two sides to the argument.
Pourquoi, mes amis? Right?
It's like, look, Timothy Weah has just been getting a lot of backlash for playing for United States, but
that one is bad. That one is bad because the father is the president.
No, but wait, I hear it. I'm not gonna get too much into it on this show.
When you got the likes of, I think there's a whole show playing for Germany,
but I believe Liberia ain't. Liberia are not qualifying for any World Cup competitions, bro. So, and he didn't grow up. Anyways, for
the truth. Can I tell you the truth? Can I tell you the truth about Liberia? Let me tell you the truth about Liberia. All the best Liberian footballers are in Philadelphia. I swear to God. I grew up in Philadelphia. I promise you. But they don't have access to football in America because of how pricey it is. In America, football is
Bro,
suburban.
his
Upper
Mbizo, his
class
dad,
kids.
his popsy won a Ballon d'Or, and he couldn't take them to a World Cup. So please, I beg, free the boy. But yeah, that's for another stream, 100%. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Obviously, there was a shocker. Let's moving on from Ghana, because I believe Ghana, for me, one of the most important things they got to clean up is Uruguay. Like that one was like, because
that's revenge.
that one hurt. That one hurt. Look, my screen even messed up there. That's how much pain that one was.
It hurt the screen.
I'm having a nightmare here. All right.
Yeah. The visions I have of that is Luis Suarez watching the penalty on the camera after being sent off and celebrating like he scored the goal. That winds me. I can see it right now, and that winds me up to the hill. And then after that coming out with the thing with Patrice Evra.
Yeah. That's right. In fact, that same night, right? Brazil played Netherlands in the quarterfinal. I was at the stadium in Port Elizabeth. After the game, I go to a bar, right? And so the Ghana thing had happened that day, and there was this drunk Uruguayan guy, just talking trash. He's just yelling and saying, "What does Africa know about football? Vamos Uruguay, pa pa pa." And what was fantastic is that there was a Brazilian guy who started beefing with this Uruguayan guy. Hey, have respect, blah blah blah. You're not even better than us, etc. And then obviously the African solidarity came, and I thought this Uruguayan guy is here to get hurt in the middle of Port Elizabeth, South Africa. I remember so much pain. And Uruguay, by the way, also smashed South Africa in that same World Cup.
So Africa needs a lot of answers. Don't worry, hey, Ghana, that game. Trust me, we're going to be streaming Tunnel TV, so check us out on there for the reactions for that one. That's going to be a big one. Big up. Comment section. Fig Rumpo says Mbizo is right about anything Philly. Big up first time in the comment section. Miss Melina in the building. Glad to see that you're better, Miss Melina. Big up all the way from Canada. Glad to hear that. I can see Ghana getting their revenge. So can I. We all hope for that. Everyone's going to be waiting for that one to happen. I was at
Uruguay got a good team though. They got a good team.
Yes, we did. Okay. So guys, there was a shock that came coming into the World Cup with an African team, but deep down, we're not as shocked when we hear who it is. Like,
come.
Hakim Ziyech is now going to the World Cup with Morocco. Mister, everything is done. I'm never paying for that coach again. All of that. But I don't say, World Cup deal. I'm not young again. Make I apologize small and get in this one. So, I know you have to go soonish. I hope we can keep you a little bit longer.
Actually, I can stay. I can stay.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Let's
Akpos, start with Akpos then. In terms of this news, Ziyech, are you surprised, and how do you think this is going to affect the whole team going into the World Cup for Morocco?
Well, I was not surprised about that one, because when it happened, we were joking about this one on Mbizo. I know you remember this one on the group chat where I was talking about both parties skipping their differences outside and knowing that the team comes first. When you're going to battle, you want to go with your warriors. You want to go with those guys who you stand a lot more chances for. A lot of people are not going to give the Moroccan national team too many chances at this World Cup, but I see reason with the decision on the fact that for them to bring back Hakim Ziyech into the national team fold, and also some compromise also with the and all of that. So I think for footballing reasons, I think it's a good one for him to come back, and also a good one for him to have this World Cup under his CV too. Because if this had happened in a different situation, let's say in a country that has so much more talent compared to what the Moroccans have at their disposal, I don't think it would be back in this.
He would have made it back.
So it needs to also say thank you to the guys that brought him back and keep his head together and know this team needs to come first. The Moroccan national team comes first right now, and go out there, plays a hat for the Moroccan fans, the African fans, the football fans in general. I know that okay, we're expecting more from you. We're expecting that you are going to step up to the plate and take care of your responsibilities as one of the stars of that team. So let's hope that it's going to go down well, and no other controversies are going to be linked with Hakim Ziyech and the Moroccan national team, and they are just going to go there and play their football.
I'm playing your football, and I agree with. I echo what Akpos is saying in terms of him. He needs to put his ego to the side and just focus. What's best for the country right now? I'm back. Let's let bygones be bygones and keep it pushing. Because let's be honest, guys. Hakim Ziyech is a quality player. Like, let's not get into it. Let's not let this Chelsea thing distract people. Because for me, there was a point where I genuinely wanted him to come in as to follow Ozil as the number 10 for Arsenal. Because even though when he was playing for Ajax, he got a lot of numbers from the wing. For some reason, in the Premier League, I could just see him as a number 10 playing through the middle.
He is. Listen, in my opinion, okay, I'm gonna piggyback of what Akpos has said here. In my opinion, the guy, football-wise, it was a great decision from Morocco. Okay, we can discuss the ethical and principle issues aside, but footballistically, the guy's a quality player, and he has all the attributes to contribute to Morocco's push. And actually, you know, even though people aren't giving Morocco a chance, if you watch them in the AFCON, they actually played some very attractive football, at least in the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah, they did.
You know, with Ashraf bombing down the right side, it was quite a decent performance for a team that you wouldn't have expected much from. So they can also pull surprises if they get it together, and Hakim can certainly be a key aspect of that. And he is a central player. He's a playmaker. You're right. Even when he plays wide, what he wants to do is come in the center, get on the ball, and play risky passes. You know, he doesn't want to keep passing the ball and cycling it around the pitch. He's the player that plays the killer ball. And if
he's the creator, he can dribble a little bit. He's got a drop of the shoulder on him.
Right. If he loses it, he loses it. You go defend. Go get it back. You know, Jorginho, that's your bloody job. Go and get the ball, give it to Ziyech, and let him play the killer ball. But you see, that idea of a number 10 is also dying. You know, players are becoming they're becoming so similar. All of the players are the same.
But even as an 8, he'd be doing a better job than what Chelsea.
I agree. I agree. I hope Morocco get it right tactically, because if he's in a position like that, with that kind of, not just the position and the role, but the psychological freedom to express himself, I think he can be very dangerous.
Let's look at Morocco's group, actually. Who they got in their group? Let's check.
So Morocco is going to be playing. Let's see here.
Belgium, Canada, and Croatia. That's not an easy group, you know.
Yeah, that Belgium game is death. Well. That Belgium game is death. Okay, you'd expect them to be able to beat Canada, despite Canada having one or two top players. On the whole, you would expect Morocco to beat Canada. I think anyone who's watched football, who knows football over the last couple of decades, would expect that.
Hey, Candace, you got a little different opinion about that?
I don't know. No, I just think, listen, they've got some ballers in that Canada team, boy, that Canada squad.
It's true.
And if they look, the thing about, I know we're talking about Ziyech, is that he's the type of player who needs his manager to believe in him. If he and that's the problem he's having at Chelsea, is that he's never had a manager that trusts him. He had that at Ajax, and that's where he kind of flourished. If the manager that for Morocco trusts him and believes in him and kind of centers everything
around the shoulder a bit.
Exactly, all of that. Then you know what? But the problem is, though, in world football nowadays, there's a lot of emphasis on tactics and stuff, and teams and doing what the team actually demands, and not to a player, because that's easily shut down. So it's going to be one of those difficult ones, and I can see Canada actually causing a few upsets, because a lot of their players are in clubs actually that are very regimented. You look at like Davies, who's in Germany, and there's a few other players playing in Germany. Then you got Jonathan David, who's playing in France, and he's been doing things over the last few years, man. And so it's not going to be an easy game. Canada 10, 15 years ago, Morocco would wash, wipe them off their face. Do you know what I mean? But now, the world of football is a smaller place now.
Yeah, it is. It's very true.
Yeah.
Candace, I understand the point that you're making, and I agree it won't be easy. The only reason why I still would say, on the whole, that Morocco might, I personally would expect Morocco to win, is that with Canada, those quality players you said, they're very concentrated. 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about an entirety of a team, I think I would still expect a country with a footballing tradition such as Morocco, But you're right. If Morocco,
that's the beauty of football. That's the beautiful.
Yes,
it's not played on the pitch.
It's played on the pitch. If Morocco come and sleep, they can see flames. They can see flames.
Canada are ready to pounce if they do.
Yes, and the Canadians will work hard. This is the first time, however long. When will be the next time? So those guys are going to put it all on the pitch.
That's the thing. Canada needs to have 100% game. All it takes is for Morocco's to be at 90%.
Yep, absolutely. You're actually right. That's very true. Very, very fair point.
There's another African nation who's not is very familiar with the World Cup. I remember they were the first World Cup I watched was World Cup '90, and I remember seeing this guy celebrating in the corner flag, man like Roger Miller, like hey. And I don't know if everyone was like me, but straight away when I scored a goal in the playground, straight away I was doing the little Roger Miller. I did that for years from Sunday League, school teams, all that stuff, and I loved it. And you could never discount the Cameroonians. They could pull up. I remember that African Nations tournament that they won. That nobody thought it was going to happen. So you never know with these Cameroonians. They're always the dark horses. Akpos, in terms of Cameroon's chances of being the African nation to maybe win the tournament, if not get the furthest in the tournament, like what do you reckon their chances are as like dark horses?
For me, the thing with Cameroon is the rivalry between Nigeria and Cameroon, and from a very my memories with Cameroon is very strong. I know how these guys are. They've caused me pain, like practically caused me pain. You understand? The 2000 African Cup of Nations is one memory.
Penalty shootout, I mean.
That penalty shootout, that final in Nigeria, that one I would not forget. All of the pains, the likes of Rigobert Song, Samuel Eto'o, they cost me on that day. That one is very strong. So from years past, I followed the Cameroonian national team keenly because of that rivalry, and they are our brothers. And I know that these guys are a strong footballing nation. And just like Nigerians are so big with football, in the AFCONs in Cameroon, I was there and I saw that it was pretty much the same feeling for Nigerian when the Nigerian national team plays and when the Cameroon national team plays. It's massive. It's massive. So this Cameroon team is one team that a lot of people are looking at them right now and saying these guys, they don't have big stars, but the Cameroonian national team is always going to be a difficult opponent for anybody, no matter which team you have, no matter the qualities you possess, because in terms of the physical attribute, they are going to be very strong. They have willing runners. And in the midfield battle, it's going to be a tough one for any team that's going to face this Cameroon national team. Zambo Anguissa is not going to be a pushover for any other.
He's balling this season as well.
You get so this is one player I watch week in, week out when I watch the Serie A because I follow the Napoli team, and Zambo Anguissa is one player that's caught my eye from the time
playing out of his skin. Playing out of his
I was really surprised. I was surprised when Fulham dropped and it was not picked by any of the other top teams in England. I was like, what's going on here? This is Zambo Anguissa.
Great backup party, man. Great.
But you heard Cristiano Ronaldo. It's a farmers league there. It's a farmers league. They don't improve the facilities.
Look at how so good is doing at Napoli right now, and the stock has gone up massively. And Chipo Monteng is one player that's high flying right now. He's been scoring consecutively week in, week out for Bayern Munich.
That one has the best witch doctors in the world. His witch doctors are working overtime, my boy. It's a coalition.
That guy, like Mbizo said, I don't know if it's the witch doctors, if it's the ancestors, if it's luck, but that guy is a very lucky player because every time it looks like Yeah, every time it looks like Bayern Munich or one other club are going to ship him out, that's when he picks form. And now
Bro.
they're already talking about a new contract. They're
Can you
already talking
imagine?
about they're talking about how to extend his contract because he's bringing in the goods. So who would want a player who's playing at that form? Is willing to sit on the bench.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
How many players have gone from Stoke to Bayern Munich?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean?
honestly,
Like,
honestly.
how many
African
players
And to
do
players.
that? How many
PSG, to
players do
PSG,
that?
then to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
it's mad. Yeah,
Stoke,
it's
Right.
mad.
So that's
PSG,
Cameroon national team. They're going to be a tough nut to crack. Vincent Abubakar. Yeah, Vincent Abubakar, if I'm
always,
correct.
Vincent.
Uncle,
That is a
45-year-old
seasoned-
Abubakar.
you
Batman.
get so that's a
And his
seasoned
mentality
international.
is perfect. His
Elite.
mentality.
It's
One of the
elite.
things I love
Like you
about
said.
Abu is the
top
mentality.
scorer in the last AFCON is a
Yeah.
player who has scored plenty goals for this Cameroon national team and is going to cause defenders a lot of problem. So that
Yeah.
Cameroon national team is not one that's going to be pushed over. They have a very good goalkeeper in the person of Onana. That's
One
one
of the best.
department where
Best.
many African teams struggle. But this
Yes.
Cameroonian the national team, they have a top elite goalkeeper who is playing first team football for Inter Milan. So I think that team is not going to be easy for any team. A lot of people are not saying a lot of things about them because they don't seem to have that one star that a lot of people will be looking towards. But I think like they have a team, they have leaders in all of this department. I think they have a spine in that team. So I think
actually, Akpos, I'm sorry to cut you off there, brother.
Yeah, go on.
But you know, to agree with you, you know, I actually disagree that they're not one of the best. You know, they don't have stars and so on. I think after Senegal, they are our best chance for a big performance in the World Cup. You mentioned Zambo, you mentioned Choupo playing out of his skin. There's another player that I really, really like, despite him playing in the Premier League, which is that's a joke, by the way, guys. Which is Barry Mbuemo. Okay.
Yes.
Brian, excuse me, Mbuemo. I think that's a top player.
Mbuemo,
yeah, he's a player who, if you watch him closely, especially because of the team he plays for, he can make a lot of things happen on his own. Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be carried by a midfield. And despite that, he has a good midfield. You know, again, we mentioned Zambo, but there's also this boy who plays in Belgium. And I think he's underrated. And I'm shocked that after AFCON, he wasn't looked at by bigger European teams, which is a Samuel Gouet. Okay, I thought Samuel Gouet and there's another boy in that midfield were absolutely spectacular for Cameroon in the AFCON. I thought their performances weren't of players that play in sort of second tier leagues like Belgium. They looked like players that should be on our screens week in, week out in some European competition, at least Conference League, you know. So I was quite surprised by that. But for me, they will be a surprise because of that. You know, they have some players that are unknown entities but are top players, which is not uncommon for Africans, of course, in a Eurocentric football associations and so on. But Cameroon can do the things. Unfortunately, they also are a team that can sometimes come with an inferiority complex, like all of our teams. For me, for example, they should be able to battle a team like Switzerland, but it depends which mentality they come with on the whole. If they come with an inferiority complex, they'll get beaten and they'll get beaten well. But if they come thinking, okay, so you have a couple of big stars, but you're Switzerland, you know, we are Cameroon, we are the indomitable lions, you know. If they can come
their
with
group
that
is a bit, Mbizo, their group is a bit. Like
it's tricky, and this is why I say it can go any way. If they
you're
come
right.
with
Because
the
they
weak
can beat
mentality,
Serbia
they'll
on
get
a good
smashed.
day. They can beat Switzerland on a good day.
They can beat Serbia definitely.
Yeah.
Both of these teams can lose to Cameroon on Cameroon's good day. Will it be Cameroon's good day?
Listen, man.
That's
that's the thing. I think the most important game for Cameroon is the first game, and they get a good result in the first game. Listen, anything can happen. I mean, I've always had a soft spot for Cameroon, man. For obviously back in the days, you know, watching you know all the historical World Cups and stuff. You know, from seeing Roger. You know, the first game of the Italia 90, and things like that when they beat Argentina. And then you know
they kicked the hell out of Claudio Caniggia.
That was
when it was still a man's game.
He went through one, bam, he kept going. It's like he went through another one, bam, kept going. I was like, rah, he's gonna get it now. bam! Listen, one man went out the stage. We had to pay to come back in, man, to get back on that pitch. It was the funniest sending off, man. It was like 3 players trying to get him, boy. It was just like, no matter what, to stop this guy. It was funny, but I'd never forget watching it go. But then, even to the listen, man, the Cameroon always been physically imposing as well. So much so to the point when, do you remember they had their the vest tops?
Yeah, and FIFA didn't allow it. And people were so intimidated.
You know why?
FIFA said, no.
You know why?
FIFA,
you know how hench them men look at it?
Patrick and Boma and all these guys.
Rob, they was
listen, if I'm on the opposing team and I see that lining up against me, I'm like, rotted.
Yeah,
but yet the New Zealand boys do the haka before every game in
rugby.
That was the equivalent, bro.
That was the equivalent.
You see, listen, oh man, when I say
when Samuel Eto'o is the smallest guy on the team, you have a problem.
Listen, man, yeah, I'd love them to do well, man. I always had a soft spot for Cameroon, so obviously Italian night was my thing when I fell in love with them, man. And the game against England, I remember that was the first time I
thought they'd done it. I won't lie.
I thought they'd done it. I was just like cheering up. Oh man, but c'est la vie, innit, as they say, boy. But yeah.
Why are you pretending you were cheering for Cameroon and not England?
I was.
Why are you trying to pretend? Because you're surrounded by Africans now, you think, oh yeah, my brothers. Nah, Canners.
Canners, the man is calling you up.
I nearly let that one sit, Canners, that was sick. Smash the like, Canners, guys. Smash the like.
You?
Subscribe, share.
It's about to be a month.
If I could, I'd get my older brother here to corroborate my story.
Yeah, my older brother, them back there, yeah. Canners.
Don't worry, Canners. The streets never forget, my guy. The streets never forget.
Rob, that was sick. You nearly blended it in. I just missed it, but I caught it on the slide. That was good. Touche. Yeah. Big up everyone in the comments today so far. Like, obviously, we've gone over the African nations. Big up Tunisia. I'm not going to go into that because I literally know nothing about this.
Let's keep
big them up.
Been there once, but that's
boring
anyway. Mentioned.
They're boring
but
anyway.
Guys,
let's move.
I want to go, obviously, other than Canners, even though he tried to deny it a minute ago, other than Canners, he's the only one whose nation is represented.
How are you really winning his nation? That's
at the World Cup right now. Do you get what I'm saying? So for us others, obviously I'm quarter Ghanaian, so you know where quarter of my attention is. So I'm supporting the Black Stars naturally as my African team. So obviously you're supporting the whole continent, but who are you really backing as an African nation first of all?
You asking me?
Now, we'll get to you, Candace.
Sorry.
Oh, you mean a non-African nation? Who am I?
Which African nation are you supporting first?
My boy, it has to be these ones here. Senegal, my guy. If anyone, but it's mostly on the basis of them having the best opportunity, in my opinion, to go far, even despite the loss of Mane. Obviously, with Mane, it would have been 10 times greater. But yeah, for me, any African team, particularly sub-Saharan, if they can go far, then that's really who my support lies with. But I'm in the real home of football, by the way. I know where football was born, but I'm in the real home of football. I was born in Lagos, but home is Johannesburg. So football may have been born in, I don't know, Oxfordshire or something. But I'm telling you that the home is one of these cities. So for me, I think Brazil, I have to support them. It's also good for my career as a football coach. But they also have a chance. They also really, really have a serious chance. I think for the first time in 2 World Cups, we're thinking of Brazil, that if they don't win, they've done it to themselves. Type of situation. I don't trust the coach. I think in general, he's a controversial figure. Half the country is like he's the one. Half the country is like, no, hell no, we don't want this guy. But what's unequivocally true is that the players are there. The players are there, and they can do it if they play. But they have to play, and Neymar needs to, get his head out of his behind and lead. He needs to grow up. It looks like he's ready to do that the way he's been playing this season. I mean, the man looks serious for the first time in a long time.
Okay, so about that Brazilian team then, Mbizo, quickly. who would be your front four? Obviously, I'm
Hey,
including.
I would go with Neymar playing at 10.
Yeah.
I would go with Neymar playing at 10. I would go with then Vinny on the left. I'd play with Anthony on the right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'd play with Anthony on the right, but the right is a little bit harder. I think Anthony, Rafinha, even Rodrigo can all fill that role. So it's less certain. But you see, that's how good Brazil is. Is any one of those three guys?
There's many combinations that they could go with.
Who can do the job at that right side? You see, Casemiro, Fabinho behind, Neymar.
Who's playing up top?
Who's up top?
You see, that's the question. That's the question.
Yes, answer.
That's the question.
Okay.
Let me land, though. Let me land. People want to put the pressure now. Let your boy think, lest I be attacked in the comments.
Thinking. Okay.
So there's three, I think, options to start. There's Richarlison. There is four options to start there. There's Richarlison. There is Gabriel Jesus. There is Pedro, who's been doing marvelously here in Brazil for Flamengo and really was put in the squad because of popular demand. Brazilians would have rioted if he wasn't put in. He's been top goal scorer.
Oh, that good, yeah.
He's been top goal scorer in the Libertadores. I mean, he's becoming something of a cult hero here, so he had to be there. But then there's also Rodrigo, who is deputized for Benzema at Real Madrid at number 9, false 9-ish.
So much for Brazil.
And has balled. He hasn't done it for Brazil, but he's done it for Real Madrid. And a footballer is a footballer. You can do it for one team, you can do it for another if the conditions are favorable. Who would I go with?
Politician. We don't need politicians.
Who would I go with right now? My game is tomorrow. I need to put in a number 9.
Yes.
Please don't kill me. I'll go with Gabriel Jesus.
My guy.
I'll go with Gabriel Jesus. Based on form. And I'm not a fan of the boy. I'm not a huge fan of the boy. So for me to say this because he has earned it. I know he's had a few dry spells for Arsenal recently, but the way he's playing all around for Brazil, he doesn't need to get goals. He just needs to play well. There's goals in Brazil.
There's enough goals in
Brazil. There's enough goals. Vinicius will take care of it. Neymar will take care of it. So what he needs to do is play well. And the way he's playing at Arsenal. And if he does that for Brazil at number 9, not wide right, where Chief has been playing him every time. He needs to play at 9, and he needs to speed up the same way. And I think then Brazil will flourish because he has the movement. He's more dynamic than Richarlison. He can go wide. He can go come in at 10 positions. The way he's been playing for Arsenal has been wonderfully dynamic. If he had been finishing, he really could be, one of the top goal scorers in the league. He's just missing the goals. So I think play with Gabriel Jesus, play with those 4 that I said, and you're cooking. You're cooking with fire.
So you're going for Anthony instead of Rafinha, yeah? To start. Just to clarify.
That's a tough call, to be fair.
That's a tough call.
It's a hard one. I would just, I would play the first game and then see how it goes. I'd play the first game with Anthony. And depending on his performance, I either continue with him or I give another guy a chance. But like I said,
definitely doesn't agree with that one.
No, hit me up.
No. I agree with everything Mbizo has said, because if you play Gabriel Jesus as the number 9, we've seen that our wingers, Arsenal wingers, are flourishing this season. And that is kudos to the work that Gabriel Jesus is doing. So for me, if he plays at that number 9 position, the 2 wingers for Brazil, they are going to flourish. Vinny and whoever starts in the right side.
I would go with Rafinha personally, but Anthony's just.
I think I will go with Anthony. But the fact that I think like Rafinha has not been really
Barcelona.
Has not been really informed. So I will go with him. Apologies for the power outage.
No, my boy. Hey, some of us are from the third world. We know. Even mine can go anytime.
No, we didn't even question you. I just continue talking. Please, I beg.
In South Africa, we have a name for it. It's called load shedding. That's how it's cultural. It's load shedding.
In London, that
was
in the meter.
The world is a ghetto.
100%. They're everywhere. Man. Don't get it twisted. Big up the sports capital in the comment section. He says, "Is Akpos following England as he has an Ian Wright
No
shirt
way, no
behind him?"
way.
I
But
don't know.
I'll back my boy for sure. I'll back Saka. Saka, Ramsdale, I'm white. I'm backing them, but
But
I'm not backing
Mbizo's
England
team,
to win the World Cup.
okay, it's clear to say Mbizo's teams are obviously Africa, but he'd say Senegal and Brazil are his main two to start off with.
Absolutely.
My one is Ghana, and my second one might surprise you lot, which is Netherlands. So Netherlands are my team ever since my favorite player before I'd even seen Ian Wright play. My favorite player was Marco van Basten. Like, what a striker that guy was! Like, his technique, all types of goals, like skillful. Like, he was
They
just an
don't make
amazing
centre
player.
forwards like him anymore.
No,
Yeah,
no.
literally, he was complete as a centre forward. And obviously, I eventually saw Ian Wright. I became an Arsenal fan, and the rest is history and all that. But whatever. So Van Basten days, from Rijkaard to Bergkamp, Overmars,
Yeah,
Davids,
Patrick Kluivert,
the list is long.
Edgar,
The list is long, and I've always followed them ever since. And I think, obviously, everyone's laughing at me, but I think Netherlands could be some dark horses in this competition this year.
You asking for
wait. It might be an emotional thing. It might be emotional thing. It probably is because they're serial underachievers when it comes to the World Cup. They've had much better squads, and they've still managed to F it up. They even got into a final where they were kicking Spain around the freaking football pitch, and that couldn't give them the World Cup. But we're here again. I believe no one really fears them, which could be their advantage. Like, no one really fears them. And we've got players like Depay, he's kind of had a difficult time at Barcelona where it's not really gone as planned for the club in general, but for him, obviously they had a lot. He shows up for the big occasion, especially for his national team. He puts them on his back. And he's someone that maybe will be pushing for a move in January, which is quite likely. There's talks of them maybe terminating his contract and he can go on a free. So he's going to want to put himself in the shop window and show the world that he can still ball. Like, Barcelona just haven't decided to go with him, but he's still a baller, someone that can really step up. Gakpo's had a good start in the Eredivisie. I mean, the first time round when I saw him at the Emirates, I didn't think too much about him. But when we went to their gaff, he looked definitely. There's definitely a player in him, and I see him long term playing through the middle. But he can play.
Is that your thinly veiled kind of apology for dissing me when I said that there's a player there last time when I was on your show and you'd like just ridiculed?
No, because you also said that we should sign him. That was my issue. I can agree there was a player in him, but I just think it's too early for him to come to a team like Arsenal at this stage of his career. Good player, let him develop a little bit more. Maybe go to a lower team first and then come in. But he's got the potential to shine in the World Cup. Obviously, the Dumfries is a bit of a hot or cold type of player on that right side as well. You never really know what you're going to get with that guy.
Not a fan.
And then you've got Van Dijk and Botman.
I think Netherlands' problem is the center of the park. I think without Genie, and I think his departure from Liverpool proved that Genie in any team becomes an important part of that team because he does absolutely everything. And I mean, you'll see few players with a higher work rate, but also having technical and tactical quality as Genie Wijnaldum.
Liverpool killed themselves, didn't they, man?
It was absurd. It was absurd. Without even a plan to bring in a player that can replace him. It was absurd. I knew it was the beginning of the end of an era.
They didn't just let one go, they let both go.
Yeah, exactly. How can you let the one does what he does in the midfield? It was like, the two, key players of that team. So for me, Netherlands struggles in the midfield. Who I am excited to see if he can really break out is Xavi Simons, right? I think the boy is playing.
He looks like a player.
I mean, he's banging goals. He's playing as this 10, right? This very free 10 who joins the attack and so on. He's pushed up very high, and he's banging goals, assists, goals, dribbles. He gave us a torrid time. He's fantastic. Yeah, man. He's a brilliant player. So I think, especially with the absence of Genie, this might just be an opportunity for him to burst onto the scene, world scene in a big way. But I just don't see Netherlands going far in this tournament. Unfortunately, they just aren't good enough for me. Matthias de Ligt for me is
Hey, man, like Van Gaal's return.
suspicious character. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that Delit thing, bro. He definitely like is Harry Maguire in disguise. Don't get
Yeah, you see, I'm waiting for him to Scooby Doo pull the mask off, and we're like, we see you. We see you.
Hey, that little run. You know what? That little run from Ajax. That led to a lot of things happening in Europe, bro. Ziyech went to Chelsea. What's his name? Van der Beek to Man U, and everything.
And a lot of them collapsed.
They've all collapsed, to be honest. You could arguably say De Jong is doing all right now at Barca because they're still competing, but still, it's not really gone well for him. It's generally not gone well for him.
They were trying to ship him out to go and suffer with Ronaldo, and he's I'm not going.
No, I'm not going. Not even the fat paycheck on offer could convince him.
He said, I'm not going. Frankie didn't grow up poor. He doesn't need the money. What he doesn't need also is the stress.
That's true, man. And Man U is stressful. Constant stress. I don't want to stress in Old Trafford. I beg. Free me. But that's my second team. Who knows, man? There's always a prize package in the World Cup. Everyone's going to be ignoring Netherlands, so you never know. A lot of their team need to have some big performances after not playing as much in the season so far. So I'm excited to see. Canners, before we finally come to Akpos, Canners, obviously you're supporting the Three Lions. What do you think about their chances this World Cup?
Wait. Time. What do you mean I'm obviously supporting the Three Lions?
Isn't it obvious, no?
No, it's not obvious.
You're not supporting England?
Do you know what? I don't mind them doing well. It's all right, but I don't support them like I support other teams.
Oh, yeah?
To me, first and foremost, it has to be an African nation. So my lineage is Ghanaian. So as they're there, listen, I want them obviously to do well and to win it if they can. Obviously, with the African nations playing each other, I don't really mind who wins. Obviously, when it comes to Ghana, obviously, want Ghana to win. But yeah, to be honest, whenever I've watched the World Cup, and it's always been Brazil. So for me, it's like I started watching football. I'm old anyway. I'll just let you know.
You can never tell.
So my first World Cup. Yeah, so the first World Cup I ever watched, which made me fall in love with football, and I was just like, I want to be a footballer, was the 82 World Cup, and that Brazilian team of the 82, that made me fall in love with football. You watch, I don't know if you ever see videos of the goals they scored and the way they played football, it was like, you lot scored one, we scored two. You lot scored two, we scored three. You lot scored, you know what I mean? That was their philosophy, and the players they had from Zico, Socrates,
Socrates,
Junior. The list goes on.
Toninho, Cerezo.
Stop it! Look, man's got goosebumps right now. Just listen, and then going on, and I'd never seen them win the World Cup, and when they won it, they had a better team in '82 and '86 than they did in '90 and '94. '94, the worst team ever. But they won it. But they had one man, Romario. That's the one player they had.
The 94 World Cup was a problem, bro. A big problem, bro. He knocked out as well. Man. I was pissed.
It's funny. I think he's pretty. I think in the global scale, he's quite underrated. He's not spoken about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bro. That's the point.
In Brazil, if you come to Brazil, though, he's considered phenomenal height.
Exactly. They put him. You would say you can't even measure between Ronaldo and Romario. You can't measure. Seriously, you would have a debate. Whereas I would say all day R9. Do you know what I mean?
Personally. The debate, it's a very fair debate, though.
But that's what I'm saying. In Brazil, it's a fair debate. Outside, people don't think of Romario. No, he's not.
And even I don't know if you ever watch it. There's a documentary. Sorry, I digress, but it's a documentary of Phenomenon. And you see the little kind of thing between them two. You had obviously the teacher, and then the young man coming up and everything. And Romario is just telling him, "You're the little man, yeah."
Yeah, exactly.
Ronaldo.
Because that's the thing. I think one of the problems is that Romario was never exportable as a product for world football because he was a bad boy. He was a bad boy.
He
Yeah,
was a
so I
bad
think
boy. But
he
you know
didn't
what?
have
He
a
was a
great
bad
thing.
man on that pitch as
He
well.
was a bad, but that's what made him, right? That's what made him bad on the pitch. In Brazil, they call it malandro, which is like it's literally that, which is like bad man, you know. And he was off on and off, you know.
He was a
And
straight
that's
up
what I think
assassin.
happened to Rooney. I think if Rooney had been in another nation where that
Oh.
bad man thing was accepted,
Yeah,
Oh.
he would have been embraced a lot
But in
more.
England, he was being made to calm down,
Yeah,
calm down,
yeah,
calm down.
yeah.
Right? And it
Romario is
depressed
just allowed to play.
Yeah,
Just
he
play.
was, be
Just play.
yourself. And I
But
think
yeah,
a lot of players benefit from that.
yeah. So for me, football, I associate with those type of players, and for me, the best ever players I've seen come out of world football have been from Brazil. So
Yeah.
so that's why I love watching Brazil. And the thing is as well, with the fans, they always have the most beautiful love, you know what I mean? In the stadium and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I have to say, I love it when the camera pans on them. But listen. If and when Ghana goes out of the World Cup, I'm a Brazilian fan. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? If England do well, they do well. If they win it, hey, listen, it's nice in England being here.
No, don't lose the plot, Candace. Don't lose the plot, brother. Don't lose the plot. You're doing so well. Don't lose the plot.
I'll stop right there.
Don't lose the plot.
Right there. I'll stop.
No, but to be honest, like obviously my name is Niger Englishman, so we got to talk about England. I mean, people are questioning me, how could you not support England when it's half of your name? And I'm like, more free me. It's where I grew up. I was born and raised. I beg, free me. I'm not gonna lie, I did get back behind the national team again for a bit, but after the scenes of the Euro final, I can't really get behind them as well. Obviously, I want my Arsenal boys to play well. Saka, I think it'd be nice to say something like Saka's a World Cup champion, but let's not forget who manages England. So we all know we're not going to be shocked with any news like that.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't even blame him on its own. This is a national consciousness. You should read a book called Inverting the Pyramid. Okay, fascinating book about sort of the history of football and football tactics and so on and so forth. It gives you incredible insight into where the English inability to adapt to the changing tactics and the evolution of the game, how it's hindered them since the game's inception. Okay, in fact, the Scottish are the ones who helped the English develop the game further. They made tactical changes to the game, and it's called Inverting the Pyramid because once there used to be like one defender and like 8 attackers, and so over time that has kind of inverted, and you've had less attackers and then 4 defenders across the back, and it goes through that whole story. So England's problem is their inability to be humble and understand that despite having created the game, you're not the best at the game.
And that's a big pill to swallow. That's a huge pill to swallow.
Right, the game evolves, it changes. You were once the best, you no longer are, and you have to change the mentality a bit. Okay, you have to, for example, I mean, I get it. Premier League is a top league, but you can't earn my respect by calling Callum Wilson to a World Cup. Which World Cup are you going to win with Callum Wilson in your attack? Respect other people, bro. Respect world defenders, mate. I know even if he's doing well in the Premier League, just doing well domestically doesn't mean you're a national team player, you're a World Cup quality player. Neither does the vice versa, by the way. Robinho is a great example. Terrible club career, but you do not leave Robinho out of a Brazil national team call-up.
Yeah.
He could be on the bench for 8 months, but when Brazil plays, Robinho is in the
He's a different animal. You're right.
He's a different player. You understand? So I think England's problem is that mentality because the players, they are there. The players, they are there. But the coach, the mentality, I don't know.
It's good. Listen, they've got the potential to go far, and I actually expect them to get to at least the quarters, at the very least. But as you say, the inability to adapt, and when you have a coach like Gareth Southgate in players who he favors.
Yeah.
Bro, he still plays 3 at the back for England now. What's he doing, bro? With all the attackers he had.
I hate this trend. I hate this trend.
What the heck is that, bro? I've never seen anything like it.
I don't like
3 centre backs and 2 DMs, bro, to protect them. Like
what?
It's
because he's seen his peers do it.
And then and then Mbizo, then people will tell me that Harry Maguire plays well for England. Brother, he's got the most protection in the world. How can he not play well for England? He's terrible. Well, they're only playing those amount of defenders because he's that bad. And for some reason, Southgate just loves him. Maybe it's his long-lost son or something. I don't know. But it does not make any sense, that squad.
I bet you he visited at home and grandma made some very nice cookies. You know, he's a family man now. You gotta look out for the fam, bro. You know,
bro, because I can't explain anything other than that, man. And obviously, like if I was England manager, like this is the lineup I would go with. I'd go with left back because he's the only left-footed guy. I would have taken Mitchell as well, but I'll go with Luke Shaw. I can't believe Mitchell hasn't gone, considering there's no other left back or even a Burn at Newcastle. That doesn't make any sense. But whatever. Right back, I'd go with probably Kyle Walker. If he's not fit, I'd go with Trippier because he's playing the best at the moment.
Reece, what about you? Wouldn't go with Reece? Is he in?
Yeah, but he's just injured. Going to the World Cup. Centre backs. As much as we've been playing right back this season, I'd go with Ben White and I'd go with Stones. In the middle, I'd go with Declan and Bellingham. In front of them, I'd go with Foden. I think the England squad should be built around Phil Foden. He's the most technically gifted English player right now. So why wouldn't you play him through the middle, dictating the play? And then on the front three, I know Mbizo might hate the last one I mentioned, but my front three is Sterling on the right, Sterling on the left, Saka on the right, and Harry Kane through the middle. I think that's much. That team could win a World Cup, bro, with the right coach. Facts. That team can scare anybody. Facts. But they don't have the right coach, so England.
And like I said, even a coach, even a single coach, you see, because a coach cannot solve deeply ingrained cultural components. You understand? Even a great coach would have difficulty transforming the mentality of the team, the nation,
I hear that.
Institution, the FA. Would have to make a slight switch in order to help the coach. But also, English fans are impatient as well. Right? Because their expectation of their team doesn't match their team's actual ability. And so there's a disconnect in the expectation of the team and what they can actually produce. And I think if those also aligned, it would be better for the players. Less pressure, less, psychological weight on them. And they could be able to go out there and maybe perform feeling that they have more support as opposed to more expectation.
Real talk. Guys, we're just going to wrap up real quick. I'm going to get in some of the comments, then we're going to have Akpos wrap us up with his two teams for the tournament. First, we got G Talks in the building. He says supporting England and France, but as you guys said, so many teams I have a soft spot for or want to see do well. Love how Brazil play the game and how good it would be for the game if an African nation wins. 100%. And we second everything that you said.
African nation has won twice now already.
Real talk. We won the last one. So you should.
For sure.
Southgate just needs this guy. They just need this guy gone after this World Cup. Weren't a fan of him as a player, and even less of a fan as a. And this is big facts. I believe him. He's in the same class as Roberto Martinez, just stinking up a generation of talent.
You went and got Martinez from where, bro?
Bro, I don't understand, bro. I'm just wasting them. And Henry as well. Went to go and follow him there. Like one joker. And he's wondering why he can never coach in real life. When your Oga is Martinez, how you gonna learn? Joker. Clown.
Sorry.
He better learning off Arteta right now.
Nigel, sorry. Everyone, I've got to go. I'm sorry.
Big up,
Canners.
Big up, Canners.
Have a great weekend, all. Love everyone.
All love,
smash the likes. If you're new to watching this, subscribe. 100%. These guys are absolutely amazing. Listen, I loved it today. Absolutely blessed, man. Took me down nostalgia route, boy. So love.
No, man. I'm going to watch some World Cup classic games after this, man. I'm sure, man. Big up, man.
What a great one to watch. Netherlands against Argentina and Bergkamp's goal, the last minute one.
Epic. I don't mind seeing that again. Hey. I'll catch you over the weekend, bro. Bless, man.
Canners, peace, brother.
Peace.
Take it easy, bro. All right, guys. So, Akpos, So we need your African team, and also we need your other team that you're rooting for this World Cup to wrap up the show and give your reasons why too, my guy.
Well, for me, I think for us Africans, the popular demand team right now is Senegal. But the fact that they're African champions, and we all look at them on paper like the team that has the chances of going furthest than other African countries. But I want to make a change now at the start of the World Cup, because if I was asked in 2000 exactly if I was going to be supporting the Cameroon national team at the World Cup, I know what the answer would have been.
Are you sure?
I know what the answer would have been.
World Cup
These Nigerians and their beefs.
On this show, no, the beef with Cameroon, it was massive. Mbizo, you know how I was there.
I don't even know what to say right now.
So for me, my first pick is going to be the Cameroon national team. I'm still going to support Senegal and every other African team, but right now I've my understanding of the Cameroonian people. I have Cameroonian friends, and I'm looking at the team. I'm looking at them that we a lot more people are giving more chances to Senegal. I personally like the underdog story, so I want to support the Cameroon national team. I'm hoping that they will go to this World Cup and do us proud and put out a good show and play good football, and hopefully go as fast as they can go. So for my first pick is going to be the Cameroon national team. But for the other team, I would want to support. I'm in a bit of a crossroad, because for a long period of time, I've always followed the French national team because of the huge presence of African players in that team. And like Mbizo said, an African nation has won it twice. So in that journey, I followed the French national team, and I'm still going to support them. But I would want to support Brazil right now, with the fact that currently in that squad, I have two players from my favorite team, Arsenal, in that squad. So, and we all know that when you watch the Brazilian national team play, you would love football.
Facts.
And with the flair that comes with watching the Brazilians play, all of that samba dance celebration and all of that, I want to support the Brazil national team, and I'm hoping that they're going to go all the way and lift this one. But if they are not going to win it, I would love this story to be a Lionel Messi winning the World Cup team. If the Brazil national team,
I would love that. I'm not gonna lie. I obviously, Man U fans are probably gonna hate me now. I'm loving the last two interviews by Cristiano Ronaldo. I absolutely eagerly watched it with popcorn. Love every minute, every minute of the night. So big up Cristiano Ronaldo. And what I would love to see at this World Cup, nothing would make me happier than seeing a Ronaldo versus Messi World Cup final, Portugal versus Argentina. GOAT versus GOAT. I know that shouldn't end the debate.
You want to see violence in the streets, is what you want to see.
I want violence all over the streets. Yes, I want it. I want all the stands for Messi, all the stands for Ronaldo. I want them head to head on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. All of it will go mad. It will be the game of all games. And I know everyone on this panel doesn't agree that whoever wins that game ends the argument. But for a lot of the mainstream, whoever would win that game, close argument. He beat him in the final World Cup. So it'll be a great spectacle. But as you said, everyone's just excited about the World Cup, man. Let's be honest, because I'm watching it with a bit of a different eye. Because when the fact that Nigeria are not involved, as much as I love all the other teams, I'm not emotionally attached to this World Cup. So it's kind of just all fun.
As a South African, I'm very used to this. I'm very, very used to this. We play in the World Cup when we host. So the next time we host, we will play.
We'll be back there. Don't worry. So we can literally just enjoy it. And I hope you guys will be available for some other shows this World Cup. I'm going to be doing regularly reviewing the African teams as well, and also the World Cups, the Arsenal players that are being represented in the World Cup, like big up Saliba, Martinelli, and Jesus. Granit Xhaka, we got Granit Xhaka, we've got.
He's playing
Granit.
well.
Look,
he's playing
well. Them chop him against Ghana.
Xhaka versus Partey. That's the most informed midfield in the Premier League going against each other.
We need a big one from Partey, man. We need a big one from Thomas. Thomas has to be what he is at Arsenal times 2. He has to do more. He has to do more.
Mbizo, to add to what you've said, Thomas Partey was how will I say it? Was the difference between a Nigerian national team and the Ghana national team during that qualifier. Because if we had Wilfred Ndidi, I think it would have been a different ball game entirely. Because Thomas Partey practically busted that midfield on the home game play in Abuja. So Thomas Partey was the player for them. Was the go-to man. I think he broke a lot of our plays in that feature. So I want to see a replica of that performance. If he could do it at the biggest stage in Africa, take it to the World Cup and be that star man for the team, because everybody's going to be looking up to you.
And
so he needs to step up.
Akpos, and most importantly, stay clear of injury. Let's not do anything crazy. No sex for you during the World Cup, Thomas. I beg you. I beg. We know how you get down. Please keep it PG for this World Cup. I beg. Eat only African food. None of that fish and chips that's been getting you injured. All of that. Stick to fufu and all of that.
Beans and toast. What is it you people eat?
Yeah, that's what got him injured, bro. He can't be doing that anymore. Fish and chips, beans and toast. None of that, bro. Keep to the African foods. But all I would say is what everyone else is thinking on this channel, watching it now, later, is make sure all the Man City players get as far in the World Cup as possible. Wrap all the Arsenal players round with cotton wool so we come back fresh. Make sure you smash, like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Big up all the comments now. Big up the comments later. People watching watching later. Big up my incredible panel of Mbizo and Akpos and also Canners.
Bro, before we go, there's one comment I would want you to put up just before we go. The comment about Ziyech goal. Yes, I don't know if you guys saw that one.
Yeah. That's what he needs to be doing. That's the magic that he can do. That's the magic he can do.
I'm gonna check it out. Big up Chelsea OG. I'm gonna check it out straight after the stream. Enjoy the tournament starting on Sunday. Enjoy the tournament and catch us back on One Touch TV for more incredible content with this great panel. Big up everybody. Have a great evening. Enjoy the football. Bless.